I give you the next Prime Minister of Holland, a great friend and a long-time supporter of Danish People's Party, Mr. Geert Wilders.
Thank you. Thank you, Morten. My dear friends, how are you today? Fine. Thank you so much for inviting me. It's always an honor and an immense pleasure to be in Denmark. When I think of Denmark, I think of you, brave members of the Danish People Party. And first, please, from all your friends in Holland, I give you lots of congratulations upon the 30th anniversary of your wonderful party. My friends, my party, the Party for Freedom, and your party have been friends for many, many years. And we have learned a lot from you. Your party was the first party in Europe to develop a tough immigration policy against mass immigration. And I really do respect and love Denmark. I am a great admirer of the Danes. Denmark is a land of heroes. My good friends, you have many heroes. Certainly, my good friends Pia Kjærsgaard and Morten Messerschmidt are two of them. And Pia, where is Pia? There is Pia. Pia, it's a pleasure to see that you are still going strong. I will never forget, and I am so grateful to you that when I started my party 20 years ago, you were the first that invited us, the first international party that invited us as an ally. And you have always been, Pia, an example to me and many others. So people, please, from the ground of my heart, please, an applause of respect for the founder of your party and my dear friend, Pia Kjærsgaard. And of course, also my dear friend, Morten Messerschmidt, the leader of your marvelous party. Morten, you are a true friend. And it's great to notice that your enthusiasm is still as vibrant as ever. There's only one thing I don't like about you, is that the older you get, the better you look. But I know one thing, and of course, foreigners should not be interfering in national politics of another country. But still I will do that, because I will know that one day soon, Morten Messerschmidt, my friends, will be the next Prime Minister of Denmark. My friends, I'm proud to say that we Dutch and Danes have a lot in common. We both live in a flat and windy country. We have a lot of tall, blonde people. We love to cycle on all types of weather, and we are courageous defenders of freedom of speech. We never budge, and we never give in. And that is our common Dutch and Danish spirit, the spirit of freedom. And that is why, when I think about Danish heroes, I not only think about Pia and Morten, but I also think of Lars Hedegaard, a good friend of mine and one of Europe's greatest defender of freedom of speech. As you know, they tried to kill him. And Lars now lives under permanent police protection. But he has never refrained from speaking the truth. Lars never budged, and I respect him for that. When I think about Danish heroes, I think of my late friend Geert Wilders. Last time I saw Geert was when I had dinner with him together with Lars Vilks in Copenhagen. And unfortunately, those two heroes of freedom already passed away, but not in our admiration to them. Geert had the talent to encapsulate in a single cartoon the nature of Islam's founder, Muhammad. And it's fitting to remember Geert today, because he drew his iconic cartoon exactly 20 years ago. Next Tuesday, it will be exactly 20 years ago since Geert's cartoon of Muhammad with a bump in his turban was published. And surely enough, as if they were eager to confirm the truth of Geert's drawing, we all know that immediately after its publication, violence, protest erupted. Islamic rioters attacked Danish embassies. A Somali immigrant broke into Geert's home with an axe and tried to hack him into pieces. And Geert too was forced to spend the remainder of his life under 24/7 police protection. But he too never, ever budged. He never apologized for what he had drawn. And I know from my own experience what Lars and Geert had to sacrifice for expressing their opinion. They had to sacrifice their privacy, their safety, and more important, their freedom. And for more than 2 decades now, I too have been living in a safe house under 24/7 police protection, receiving death threats almost every minute because I dare to speak the truth. And of course, if you speak the truth, unfortunately, is the reality that you get into trouble. But we never stop. I might be Dutch, but I try to behave as a true Dane. My friends, I don't know whether Charlie Kirk had Danish ancestors, but he also behaved like a true Dane, not being afraid to speak out and defend freedom. He died for freedom, our freedom. And the great Ronald Reagan once said that, and I quote, "Freedom is never more than one generation away from extinction," end of quote. And these words are more than true today than ever before. We are, you and me, the Danish people and the Dutch people, are the free men and women of the West. Freedom is our birthright. But if we fail to protect it, we are bound to lose it. Freedom of expression is dead when we give in to so-called Islamic sensitivities or other totalitarian ideologies. My friends, the truth is hard. Many people do not like to hear it, but we betray ourselves if we remain silent. As the American author Mark Twain said, "The truth hurts, but silence kills." And as the martyr Charlie Kirk said, "Never let anyone silence your voice. The future belongs to those who refuse to stay silent." So let us be brave and always speak the truth. That's the only spirit we can afford. Let them hear us roar. We will never surrender. We are the storm of freedom, the voice of liberty. And there are today 3 existential threats that are facing us. First, wokeism, or cultural relativism, as you may call it. The lie that there are no objective truths, no loyalty, no freedom, no nation, no family, no men and women. Everything, according to them, is subjective. Everything is relative, interchangeable, and without value. But ordinary, decent people do not want to live a life without values. They do not want to give up their traditions. And that is why woke is increasingly intolerant. They do not respect us. They do not discuss. They do not debate. They want to destroy. Look at what happened to Charlie Kirk. They hate our civilization. They hate Christianity, Judaism, and they especially hate the state of Israel, the nation state of the Jews. Woke, my friends, undermines society from within. It has allied itself with the second greatest threat, the threat of mass immigration and Islamization. And mass immigration has flooded our streets with people from an entire different cultural background. People who often don't respect our values. And the aggressive woke activists and the Islamic radicals have found each other in the fight against Israel and the Jews. Palestine has become their rallying cry. The Palestinian flag has become their common symbol. And once again, anti-Semitism in Europe is the canary in the coal mine, indicating that the collapse of our civilization is near, unless, once again, we speak out, speak the truth, and turn the tide. And that is exactly what we have to do. We have to say no to woke, no to mass immigration, turning us into strangers in our own land. We have to say no to anti-Semitism. We have to say and make sure that it stops today. However, there is another existential threat that is facing us. It's the cowardice of many Islam and woke appeasing governments and intellectuals. We have seen this cowardice at play in New York this week at the United Nations, where France, Britain, Belgium, and a few other countries formally recognized the Palestinian state. Instead of pressuring the terrorists of Hamas, they pressure Israel. And I am happy that, at least so far, the Netherlands and Denmark formally did not join this chorus of betrayal. And we have also seen this cowardice at work in the European governments in the last decades, transferring even more national sovereignty to Brussels. We have seen it at play in the governments of the past decade, who, despite voters asking for less immigration, have inundated us with even more fortune seekers from the Middle East and Africa. And that's pure cowardice. But my friends, there is also good news. All over Europe, people, and more people every day, are waking up. The future, my friends, is ours, is yours, is us. The future is ours because all over Europe, patriotic parties are growing. Because people know that we are going to take our countries back from the cultural relativist and the European federalist. And that is the reason I believe that Pia and others founded your party 30 years ago. And that is the reason that I founded my party 20 years ago. We are the storm of freedom, the hurricane of liberty. You are the future, and we will blow all those cowards away. My friends, last year, my party, the PVV, which is by far the largest party in the Netherlands with 2.5 million voters, 25% of the vote, we joined. Thank you. We joined the Dutch government for only one reason: to close our borders and to stop more immigration. And centrist parties and centrist parties agreed to govern with us, to form a government, on one condition, that I did not become Prime Minister. This, of course, was a gross violation of democratic rules. It never happened in Holland, I don't know if it happened here, but in Holland it never happened before, that the leader of a party that wins the election and becomes part of the government will not become Prime Minister. But okay, I said, fine. My country is more important than my personal career. So, take another Prime Minister. Let's have a non-party, non-partisan Prime Minister as long as we get our borders closed. So last June, in the government, my party proposed several measures to stop immigration. But unfortunately, the other centrist parties and the coalition did not keep their word, and they dismissed almost all our proposals. What did we propose? We proposed to let our army control our borders and turn back all asylum seekers arriving from our neighboring countries. We only have two neighboring countries, Belgium and Germany, and those two countries are safe countries. If you enter from Belgium or Germany, which are safe countries, you are not an asylum seeker, you are a migrant. We proposed a stop of family reunification. We proposed to offer no more shelter to single male asylum seeker like Belgium already does. We proposed to make a punishable offense to illegal enter and stay in our country. I believe it's already punishable by law in your country. We proposed to deport, how more logical can it become, to deport criminal foreigners and to deprive criminals with a double nationality of their Dutch citizenship and expel them to their country of origin. They dismissed it. Our government even refused to sign the letter of Mette Frederiksen and Giorgia Meloni urging the European Court of Human Rights to rethink its bias in favor of expelling irregular immigrants. 9 EU heads of government signed this letter, but not the Dutch. Hence, I felt it was my duty to force elections on the topic of immigration. So we have national elections in approximately 30 days, in a few weeks' time, at the end of October. And again, I'm happy to say, in all the polls after we left government in June, we are still leading the polls and the #1 party in the Netherlands. Because once again, we cannot afford the situation to deteriorate any further. And more people all over Europe agree. Because more and more people have enough of the newcomers harassing our women. In Holland, half of all the suspects of sexual crimes are non-indigenous people. In Holland, we have asylum seekers today in almost every village and city in the country. People feel strangers in their own neighborhood, in their own village, in their own city, in their own land. We spent this year 9 billion euro only for housing all those people. Money that could be spent for the elderly or lower taxes. We don't, we give it to immigrants. And more people today have enough of the woke madness and transgender ideology. They have enough of the Palestinian flag-waving thugs vandalizing our university buildings. They have enough of the violence of Antifa. And I'm proud to say that last week in the Dutch parliament, a motion was passed and accepted, co-signed by me, urging our government to declare Antifa a terrorist organization. My friends, not just in Denmark and the Netherlands, but all over Europe and the Western world, common sense is growing. They cannot stop us. And this is why Some countries, they are using the courts as a political tool to silence us. Look at France. Because of the French establishment fears that our dear friend Marine Le Pen will win the next presidential elections, a French court used trumped-up fraud charges to ban her from running. But I tell them, you cannot, and you will not be able to stop us. And that's why they try to censor free speech as well. Look at the European Digital Service Act. It seeks to suppress the spread of disinformation, harmful content, false content. But what constitutes disinformation and what is harmful and false is determined by the border ideologies of the European Commission. And we cannot and we will not let this happen. And other EU projects are equally harmful. We will not let that happen either. And that is why in Brussels, we, the Dutch Party for Freedom and the Dansk Folkeparti, stand shoulder to shoulder in the fight for freedom and national sovereignty, together with so many other parties. My friends, next week, the Czechs are holding general elections. And the polls predict a massive victory for our ally Andrej Babiš. Hooray for Andrej, the next Czech Prime Minister. And as I already said, next month we, the Dutch, will also elect a new parliament. And I hope that we will be able to win former government and that next time when I visit you, I will be the next Dutch Prime Minister. Thank you. Thank you so much. And next April, the Hungarians will re-elect, I'm sure, our ally Viktor Orban. And of course, 1 year from now, it will be your turn. And I hope to go to the Council of Ministers, of Prime Ministers, together with Morten. Please make sure that will happen. Make us proud. Make us proud. Make the Dansk Folkeparti great again. Let the spirit of Holger Danske inspire you. My friends, long live the Dansk Folkeparti. Long live all the patriots from Europe. And together we will stand for the Judeo-Christian and humanistic values of Europe. Together we will defend democracy, national sovereignty, and our national heritage and identity. And together we will restore the supremacy of our national parliaments over the unelected bureaucrats of Brussels. But most important of all, together we will defend and preserve our freedom and the freedom of our children. And together we will win. Thank you very much. Thank you. Thank you so much.
Thank you. What a wonderful speech.
The next Prime Minister of Denmark.
It has been said, Geert, that in politics, if you want a friend, get a dog. But I will say from the bottom of my heart and on behalf of my party that we really regard you as a true friend. And it's not only you personally, but between our parties. And as you described, going back now more than 20 years. And it's not only us. Around in Europe, we have a strong alliance of friends from Paris to London, over Berlin, in Prague, and so on. We have many friends. So we are not alone at all. We are fighting shoulder by shoulder against the media, the institutions, and the other political parties. And we are winning. So thank you so much for coming here today. It's really and truly an honor. Thank you, Mr. Geert Wilders. Thank you.